Hello everyone, welcome to tonight's live tutorial session. Hope everyone is doing okay. Tonight we are looking at cutscenes and in particular level sequencer inside of Unreal Engine. So before we get started, let's say hello to everyone. Hey, how is everyone doing? Everyone in live and chat, hello. Hopefully everyone's doing okay and are enjoying their evening, morning, wherever you are, whatever time it is. I hope your project's going well. Hope everyone is all healthy and safe. Hello, Jason. Hello, Peter. Riot, Chris. Hello, Elizabeth. Weird One. Kyle. Lottie. Hello. How are you all? Thank you so much for joining me live. Now, because you are here live, that means you can ask questions as we go through this. But we've got a few aims today. A few aims are to take a look at the level sequencer, introduce you to a few things in there, some good practices to follow as well, and basically how to set up cutscene like systems inside your game, and animating and so forth. Now, we won't go into full animation mode because there's a lot in it, but we can definitely do some amount of it, so you can at least start tinkering with it. So let's get started. So let's jump into Unreal here. And all I've done is brought in a brand new project. I haven't done anything else yet. We may later on bring in some animations from the marketplace, so you can see how to implement pre-made animations or animations you've made with a motion capture suit or something like that, or something you brought in from Blender or Maya. We'll show you that process of how to implement them onto your timeline. But yeah, so let's take a look at a few things we can do. So the first thing we're going to focus on is, in terms of cutscenes, is the cutaway. Now, the cutaway is going to be a technique where the player does something in a level, and the camera's going to cut away and show something else, and something else is going to happen. Okay. So we're going to set up a very simple game mechanic here to showcase this. Now, the reason why we show this sort of information to the player is it allows them to identify with a reaction to their action. So when they click a button, they know what it's done. There's nothing worse when playing a game and you hit a button where you have no idea what it does. So it's always good to show or hint to the player where to go and what to do when they are doing things. So let's do a simple door thing. Okay, let's do different class, actor, door, and in here, when it triggers, when it opens, and what we're going to do is some sort of destination thing. We're going to make it blow up the door, and the door will go away and allow the player to proceed further into the level. So we'll do a very simple mechanic here because we don't want to spend too long on this because that's not the focus of what we're doing here today. So let me just scale this up. Something like that. There we go. And let's build a simple level setup here. We are going to scale this down here. Move that along here. Put that this way. Quickly build something that looks kind of game-like. Okay, and we'll put our door in. And we'll just chuck that in here. And that's going to be off center because we're snapped to the wrong amount. 50, 50. Okay, so there's our door that we're going to blow up and put down here. And we'll put some fake barrels in and things like that. So let's just put like a cylinder or something in. There you go. There's a barrel. Yeah. There we go. We can blow this up later. Okay. Golden Pixie, how would you add some camera shake for different simulations too? I have trouble making proper different camera shakes. If we get time, I'll show you camera shake stuff. But I've done a question time at some point recently. You definitely check it out for that. Hi, I just came in to say hi. Say me and my friends praise you at my college for the UE4 tutorials. Thanks for everything. You're welcome, Lion Me. Okay, so let's make a little button that the player has to hit to do this. Now, alongside this, I'm also going to show you the correct use of using the level blueprint. Too often people use it for all sorts of things, and no. So here we're going to make a simple switch. I'll just make a fake one. Be fine. Shapes, cube. Oh, like that. That'll do. And I'll put a trigger volume on it. Trigger volume. Okay. So I want it so when the player stands on this spot, the camera will cut to this, blow it up, and let the player carry on. Okay, so something very simple at first. We'll get into more complex stuff in a minute. So, the gist of level sequencing. Now, what we need to do here is, that's going to be our trigger, but then we have to animate that play going ahead. So you create a level sequence by going up to the clapboard up here, and you go add level sequence. The difference between a level sequence and a master sequence is that a master sequence, you can combine multiple level sequences inside of it, so you can like sort of compose a series of shots together. More useful for things like branching path type animation setups, things like that. But we're going to go to level sequence, nice simple one, and we'll do door switch sequence. Okay, and when you open it up, it gets you this level sequence. The level sequencer works like most common animation tools. You have a number of keyframes, it tweens, and you have tracks. And the tracks here are going to be objects inside your scene, and now you can influence them. So let's do, again, a very simple setup here. Now, before we go any further in here, I do need to make sure I add the explosion to the scene before we get any further. Otherwise, I might wonder why the hell it's not blowing up. So you can go to my starter content and just use a standard one you get in there. Explosion. Something like that. I will make it bigger. Okay, but this one, I want to make it so it doesn't just auto-activate. I need to go down here and tell it not auto-activate. Okay, so it's primed and ready to go. Okay, so when I get here, I want to move the camera over to it. So what we're going to do is add a camera track to this. Now, the simplest way of doing that is by clicking a little camera icon up here and add a camera track. And now you can see we're piloting the Cine Camera Actor. This allows us to move around the scene and pilot the camera as we fly about. So in here, we've got the sequencer. I usually, by the way, have the sequencer on the other screen, but obviously we're streaming, we want to keep it on one screen. But that's what I normally do. I normally put the sequencer on the other screen so it's nice and big and beautiful and I can see everything I need to see. But on here, you can see that there's several tracks here. We've got a camera cuts track. So this is a track that indicates where your camera's going to be cutting into. So we've got only one camera at the moment, so it's just got one camera shot in there. But if we have multiple cameras in there, we can cut between them. So useful for doing dialogue scenes. I know, Reop, you're talking about dialogue. You could have two cameras, following the 180 rule of keeping cameras facing the correct subject. If you don't know what the 180 rule is, essentially, you want to keep the cameras on the same side of the subjects, so that the person talking on the left is always on the left, the person talking to the right is always on the right, and it gives that impression. You want to avoid crossing that 180 straight line there. You can look it up on Google. There's loads of things about it. It's not like a folder. It's kind of like it's just like a way to composite sequences together. Lottie, kind of a way. We'll show you in a second what I mean. We won't use it necessarily, but we'll show you what it means. Okay, so when the player gets on here, I want it to look at the camera here, and that's gonna be a starting point. Now over here we've got the camera cuts, we've got the track here for the Cine Camera Actor. These are individual tracks, and they're indented in to indicate which track belongs to what. So here, for example, the current aperture of the camera belongs to the camera component, which belongs to the camera actor. Actors are a list of components, so we're changing things about the camera, we're changing things about the camera component. Likewise, we can change to something about the transform of the actor, so we can move it around the scene. On the right hand side of these, you've got sorry, before I go further, you can expand these open and see the individual values like so as well. On the right hand side here, we've got the sections. These are if you want to make different types of that track. So the transform track by default is an absolute world positioning track. So it's relative to the world. Okay, so all the coordinates in here are world coordinates. So if I go in here, for example, there, it's well not, yeah, relative to the, like, not the world, but to its parent. And this is the transform of the actor, so it's of the world. But you can also make relative ones too, which can be useful if you're doing like repetitious animations that you want to be sort of dynamic. I'll try and think of an example for that in a second, and we'll try and do something like that. Okay, so next thing we've got over here is on the right hand side, the keyframe. So the left arrow, right arrow, they moved between different keys, and the keys are basically recorded positions on your animation. And you add a key by clicking on the plus button in the middle of those two arrows. Now up here you do have this button up here, this little key icon. Usually I'll turn this on, and it's auto key. But however, auto key only works if that track already has at least one key in it. So if I move around here, nothing happens to the track. I have to add a key first of all. So with that turned on there, I'm going to go down to my transform and add a key to it. And you see a little red dot up here. Now if I move the playhead along to where I want it to go, we'll go about here, I don't know. And we can turn the camera around, move it a little bit like so. And you can see it's already added a key for me. Yeah, and if I play the playhead back and forth, we can see that animation happening. And after that, I'll make it go in a little bit. Like so. So the full animation so far looks like this. Boom. I'm thinking, okay, I want to actually make that a bit slower, that bit. So to make it slow, all you do is grab the keys and stretch them out a bit. And if you want to make the sequence longer, you've got the sequence values down here. You can just click and drag this number up, and it makes it longer or shorter. You can change this, the view by changing the scroll bar here. The green bar, the green line indicates the start, red line indicates the end. So if you don't use the whole thing, try to trim it down if you can. Like for example here, it will stop and there's nothing happening over here, so we could trim it down. But I'm going to leave it there for now. So yeah, we've got this sort of basic camera movement. Okay, so something very simple. As I said, we'll do more complex stuff soon. Okay, so that is the gist of it. Okay, and all we're doing the whole entire time is just changing these values and mimicking them across. So let's now set up the explosion. So I'm going to go across to where I want the explosion to happen. I'm going to go about here. And I'm going to click on my explosion actor in the scene now. Okay, P explosion emitter. With it selected, I can click on add track, activate a sequence, and you should see the one you've got selected up here. Alternatively, you could search the outliner down here if you want, but when you've got a lot of actors in your scene, it's probably a lot easier to click on it and add context tree like this. So you add explosion here. Okay, so one feature we're going to change about this explosion is its activation. We're going to activate it at a certain point. So what we're going to do is explosion here, we're going to add a track to it. And here we can see a number of tracks that are available to us on the explosion itself. You've got the tracks and you've got the components as well. So these tracks here, we're going to do attachments, we can do audio tracks, we can do an event track, so you can make trigger like code, for example, effects track, particle parameter track, pathing, transform, template sequence, blah, 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 all this stuff, okay? If I click on the particle components track, it'll add the particle component, much like how this added the camera component, this adds a particle component. And if I click on the track of that, I get all the stuff that's related to that component, okay? Such as auto activate. I can click on this and I can tick the tick box and you can see it turn off and on. Okay, so it's going to be off by default. And then when it gets to this point, I'm going to add a key. I'm going to turn it on there. Oh, I have to add a key at start. Whoops. Right. We'll go back to the start here. Add a key. So it's red. And then we go to the end here. And if you have trouble aiming for this, it's best to use the arrows to indicate where you want to go. So we're going to go to this one here, turn it on, and you should see the bar here go green. That indicates that it's on. Okay. So if we go and play this whole entire thing, we should hopefully see the explosion. Or not. Why is it not firing? It is auto-activate, isn't it? Maybe I'm wrong. Auto-activate. It might be this one. Yeah, it's this one. Sorry, my bad. Auto-activate. It's this effect system. Dunk. So. Whoop. Deactivate. And we trigger it here. Oh crap. I pushed the wrong button. Trigger. There you go. So when we play it, it should go along. And when it gets to that point, bang, blows up. Okay. So now we want it to disappear the door and the barrels. Okay. So over here, we want to go to the explosion point. And I'm going to add the barrel, the door to the scene here. So we click on the door, add the track for the door. And oh, sorry, yeah, I can't see the. Hang on, I'll just hang on. There we go. Hello. So this is the FX system. You want that setting. FX system. Start it at deactivate, and then it triggers on the key to trigger, and it'll fire it off. And if you want to trigger it multiple times, you can trigger like throughout. So FX system. Okay. Oof. Okay, so that does that. We've got the door track now. So at that point, when the explosion fires off, we're going to go to the door, add the track, and we'll make this thing hidden in game now. So go activate hidden in game. And oh, sorry, if I set a key first at start. Whoops, my bad. Turn it on. Come along here. Push. And then add another key and turn it off. So now the doorway's open. So if we fire it. Yeah. So very simple effect. And that's kind of good. But I'm kind of happy with that. Okay. So could you apply physics to it to make it fly away? You could. Yep, you totally could. Let's do that to these barrels here. Okay. So these barrels here are just static mesh cylinders, nothing special. But if I tell them to simulate physics on the track, I can make them do that, and then do a radial actor. So let's do that then. Okay, so we're going to go add the barrels here, the two cylinders here, and I'm going to go along. Or add the keyframe, sorry. So we add the tracks here for their static mesh components. Because if you don't know, when you do physics, it's related to the component, not to the actor. So you have to add the component, and then we're going to add the activation, simulate physics. Oh yeah, body instance. There you go. Body instance, and then it is physics, simulate physics. There you go. And we turn that off. Start. Do the same thing down here. Body instance, physics, simulate physics. Add a key. So they're off now. We'll get to here. I'm going to turn them on at this point. Like so. But obviously they're not going to do anything. So what we're going to do is add a radial force to this. So if I go in here and search for radial force actor, I'm going to drag that into our scene. And I'll put that there on my barrels there. Okay, and you can increase this force strength and all that stuff off your actor. So we've got 200 there, that's fine, but we'll give the bigger strength, make 10,000 strength for 500. I don't know, we're just making stuff up now. And now I'm going to add this to the track just like anything else. It doesn't fire off automatically, at least it shouldn't do. We'll turn off auto activate just in case. But you get to this point here and we want it to fire. So we're going to add track, radial force actor. We're going to then go to add track on there and we want to trigger it. So you're going to go to the force component, And on there, you should be able to trigger it. Maybe that's the... It should fire off. If not, I know another way you can do it. I don't think auto activate does it. I'll double check. If not, I'd show you the other way. It's actually a better way, really. But we'll do that. Get to there. Turn it on. So, do we see a move? I bet we don't. Because normally if it takes a fire an impulse, which is an event it has on it. No. So we'll do it as an event. Okay, no problem. So on our radial force actor, I'm going to go on here, add the track, and do an event track for it. Trigger. So on here, when it reaches this point of the here, I'm going to go to events, add an event to it. Not the plus section, just do the bit in the middle. Adds like a keyframe for it. But this event obviously is meaningless, it doesn't actually have anything on it. You have to assign code to that event there. So I'm going to right click on it, go to properties, and over here you see event unbound. I can click on this, and you've got a few things you can do. You can go quick bind, and you can go to radial force actor, and you can probably search for it, fire impulse, there. And it's going to bring up what we call the sequence director. The sequence director is a blueprint that belongs to the level sequencer. It allows you to add logic and things like this to the sequence itself. So this one's a very simple one. On this event, it's going to send over and fire the impulse of that actor. So let me go back into here, and we should hopefully see it. If not, we have to increase its strength. Let's increase its strength a bit. I'm also going to position it a little bit further out like this. Also, have these actually got physics enabled on them? I didn't realise I might not have had that set up. Hang on. Let me just change them to physics actors just in case. Let's do that again. Not having it. What type are they? Physics body. Yep. And that's turning off and on. Yeah, it's on. Yeah, so this force probably just needs to be more. Just go to that, click on the force. Force strength, we'll do that too. We'll just go extreme. Just add some zeros into it. If in doubt, try extreme values. It's not doing it, is it? Why are you not doing it? Maybe because I got it set to not activated. Oh wait, no, the code only plays when you're playing the game. My apologies. Sorry. Right, so we'll see that when we play the game. Because the blueprint has to run. You won't see it running. Whoops. Right, so when I want to get out of this camera, I click the button there, and I can eject from the camera. And there's the cine camera you can see there. And also you can see the sequence. The sequence is represented by this clapboard thing. This has to be in the world in order for it to actually work. So make sure it's in there. So let's trigger it now with our trigger. So I'm going to click my trigger. I'm going to go to my level blueprint. And this is the correct usage of the level blueprint. In here, we're going to add the event for begin overlap. We'll check that the other actor is equal to the player character. And if that's the case, we're going to select the level sequence, which is this one. Go back to my level blueprint. Right click, create a reference to the sequence. And that refers to the level sequence. I can then go from there and do play. And you'll see play with the sequence player. The sequence player is a component of the level sequence. So you do that and push play into there. Compile, save. So let's take a look at that in action. They moved, but not very far. Might have to increase the range of it a little bit. Also, you saw that the door was still there. I'll show you that in a second. Oh, what's happened there? Why have they disappeared? Oh, tits. Hang on. Hang on. What? What? Is that a bug? What the hell? Where's everything gone? That thing went missing. No, missing loads of things. Okay. Well, what the hell? What the hell happened there? Did anyone else have that issue before? What the hell's happened there? Let's put the explosion back in. I won't bother with the barrels just yet. Oh, look now. Why is it done? I'm confused. Why is it done 2? What? The sequence is gone as well. Where's the sequence gone? No, it's there. Why is it invisible? What is going on? What is going on? The button's gone as well. What is going on? Save and restart. Oh, it could be an idea. Yeah. I've seen that before, actually. We'll try saving and restarting. 1 second. Nice little bugs. Too many projects. Live cutscenes. Yeah. Am I still doing the JRPG series? Not currently. Yeah, I'll probably have double doors now. That's okay. Yeah, there you go. Got double doors, other explosions. Which one's though being used? Doesn't really matter, I guess. That one's being used. They're both being used. Oh, give it that. Right, let's open level sequence. Weirdness. Okay. Let's let's play the level and see if that still works as intended. Yeah, okay. So, right, okay. We still got it. Brilliant. All right, done. Weird. Never mind. Okay, so don't know what that's about. So next thing is you want to keep the door gone. So what you do with the track on the for the door at that moment where you want its visibility to change, right click on that key there and go to properties. Not properties, sorry. No, sorry, right, not on the key, on the track in the middle. There you go. And in here, do when finished, change it to keep state. And that way it will stay gone. Pardon me. Yeah, gone. Ta-da. Oh, collision. Got to turn off collision. Yeah, so we'll do that. Or just move it out of the way, either one. I tell you, I'll just move it out of the way. Be a lot easier, wouldn't it? Well, I'm missing. Oh, I ain't got a transform. I didn't have a transform track, did I? Transform key. Turns invisible. And add key. And then yoink. Like that. There you go. Yeah. If you want to destroy the actor, you can do if you do an event trigger like we did with the radial force actor, and then do destroy. Yeah. That's that same reason why, by the way, is when you look at games, you see a lot of the animation stuff is just outside the level, like underneath the map. Just because it's easier just to move it around rather than code it to destroy itself, instantiate, and all that stuff. You can just make it disappear like that. Yeah. So yeah, now that all work. Boom. Don't do it low enough. No. Well, hang on. Oh wait, did I not do the keep state on the? God's sake. Keep state. Now do it again. There we go. Okay. One thing to note with this, you want to make sure that the sequence is set up to do once only, or has some sort of condition on it to check that it only fires as many times you need it to fire. And secondly, you want to make sure that the... No, that's about it. That's the main thing to worry about. Yeah. Anyway, so that's a core basics of the animation system, okay? So let's try something a bit more complex and a bit more useful with the cutscene stuff. So let's say we're going to have this scene come into here, and I want to cut to a different camera, okay? And maybe something else comes out, like another character comes out of the room or something. So let's bring in another character into this room here. Let's go and bring in character, mannequin, rigs. Oh, not rigs. We'll just put in a skeletal mesh. And there is our Manny. Okay. And this will be our... We can do a giant. Let's make him big. There you go. Cool. Right, so when that door explodes, I'm going to make camera change and then make him come out. So let's minimize some of these things and hide them away. You can also group these two things and organize this a little bit better too. So we can add a group, we'll move to a folder, we can add a folder to this, for example. So do folder, and we'll do like shot 1, for example. Shot 1, done. Okay. Then I want to say, okay, I want to make another camera track, so we add new camera, and I want it to happen there. Okay, and he is going to come in with his shot on the scene here. So I'm going to go to add track there and move that about to this side here. I'm actually going to do like an upend shot like this. Make him look more imposing. Like that. Cool. So it goes into there, and then we're going to just extend this out a little bit. And this is the camera cut. So this camera cut here is that first camera. So I want to bring it down to about there. So it fires, and then I went to the cut. Actually, let's bring it out a little bit more. It's easier to do that. Okay, and then I'm going to cut to the other camera. Now, to cut to the other camera, on the camera cuts track, click on add camera, and you choose the other camera. And that's going to cut to the other camera. And if you want to see this in action, hit the little camera button next to your camera cuts, and your preview will now be of that camera cuts track. So it'll cut to here, and it'll cut to this camera point of view. And now I can do what I normally do here. So demonstrate like that. Do that. Yeah, pretty cool. Overlaps that expensive? Not at all. Doing a big open world thing for the overlap for open world scene. You still have multiple level sequences. You can use that for level blueprints. Sorry, you have multiple level blueprints anyway, because you should be breaking them up into level, like level chunks. But you don't have to. I'll show you another method in a second of what you can do as well. That's quite interesting. Okay, so in here now we're going to add our bad guy to the scene. So I'm going to click off that and just click on our bad guy here. Now you need to animate his mesh separately from his transform. Okay, so you can't have it work it out by itself. You have to like time it yourself. So we're going to go in here, and I'm going to go and add our guy here to the sequence. It's going to give it a second. There we go. And here we have the mannequin here set up. Now, when you add the Manny in UE5, it will come in with the control rig for it. More on that later on. So first thing I'm going to make is just a transform. So about here, I'm at the key. And then here, we'll bring it out like this. Okay, probably make it a bit slower. Okay, so let's see how that looks. I think it has to be a lot slower than that. So we'll make this a bit longer. And bring out the red bar there. That's a bit better. Cool. So we've got his translation going on here, but now I want to do the animation. So here's the thing with this, is that if you go to here and go to add animation track, we're going to add a simple walking cycle to him. So animation here, walk, and then just walk forward here. But you'll notice a problem with this. It doesn't play. The reason why it doesn't play the animation is because of the control rig track. Delete it. If you want to use canned animations, delete your control rig track. And he will now play the animation there. Yeah. So we've got him moving and animating out. So let's now see the whole thing in action. Go. Oh. Why is he still out there? Hello. Why are you here? Oh, because we're still in a sequencer. My bad. Right. Push play. There we go. Right, so we go up here. And trigger. Yep, cool. And so you can do some simple things like that to cut together some sort of sequence you may want to do and go for as long as you like. Just it helps to try and keep organized if you can in your tree here. And as I said, I usually put this on the other monitor. Makes it a bit easier to manage what I'm doing and keep it over there. So we'll have that set up over there. And if I wanted to keep him out there and trigger his AI, I could do other things like that on there and so on and so forth. Now, there's lots of other things we can also trigger in here that people aren't usually aware of. So, for example, and this is not going to make any sense what we're about to do. So, we're just going to do it. So, what I'm going to do in here is this door, I'm going to change its color. Okay. So, I'm going to go into a material, doormat, and we're going to do here. I'll tell you what, actually what we'll do is, yeah, I know, we'll make it fade away. So we go base color there, and we'll make it white like that. Then we'll do dither. Dithering is how you can use masking to mask out a shape. So I'm going to go change this to masked, and then plug that into my opacity mask. And it's now dithering, so you can sort of see how it's see-through. Basically, dithering is like dots and lines, and you can change the alpha threshold of that with a scalar. So we're going to put in 1 in here. So 0 is completely see-through. 1 makes it totally opaque. And what we do is convert that to a parameter, and we do opacity, like so. Apply that, and save that. So now I'm going to add this to my door. So I'm just going to create a material instance for it. Add that to my door. Just double check that's actually done that. No, let's do that again. There you go. And now what you can do in your animation sequence here. Let's go back to the door. Let's go to the door bit up front here. So make it blow up here. Let's say I'll get rid of the visibility track on it. Where are we? Door visibility. I'm going to delete the track here for that. Okay. But I should have. Hang on. Back into it. There we go. So on the door here, I'm going to go and add a track to this, and the track I'm going to add is to do that material. So I'll go to the door, add track, and I'm going to do component. Why can't I see the components of that? Assign. Why is that being weird? Convert to spawnable. No. Why is it thinking it's possessable? It's probably because I added 2 and it kind of got confused with that. I'll tell you what, we're just going to break it and delete it from the scene. Hold on. And put it in again. I think it's because we're messed up when I... Yeah, there you go. If it messed up before when it crashed. Well, not crashed, bugged out. Okay, let's now go back to our level sequence here. And we assign the actor to this one. No. Assign. Oh. Place. Yeah, still doing it. Delete the whole track. Add track, actor that door. There you go. Don't know what the hell's going on there. Anyway, go on add track here. You'll see the components, and you'll see cube, and then in cube we can access the material components of that. So I can go to the material parameters, element 0, and then I go to the parameter of that. Not that one, sorry. No, where is it? It should be that. Hang on. Did it not? Oh no, because I deleted it. I didn't put it back in. Whoops, my bad. Put it back on. Door mat instance. There we go. Yeah, so if I go in here, add track, what's it doing? Okay, I want to edit onto the actual thing. Better. Always just to show you this works. That's annoying. Right, now go to cube, element 0, parameter, opacity. There we go. There we go. So we can now control a material parameter via our sequencer. So I can add a key to that, and then I can go to key here. Actually, let's take time it with the explosion. So it explodes. Bring that key there, and then we'll make it fade away by going to this and change that down to 0. So now we've got it fading away. So if I go into my play mode of this, yeah, there you go. So you can access material parameters. That's the whole point I wanted to show you, is that by going into adding components and checking the different components and their tracks, you can eventually get down to a material and its parameters. Same goes for Niagara effects, audio parameters, anything that's got parameter you can access through the level sequencer. So you can really have lots of control over what kind of things you want to trigger and animate inside your scene. So it's really quite cool what you can do there. So any questions about that before I go on to the next part of what I want to talk about? Ryan, are you working on a game in your free time? When I get free time, yes. When I get free time. Yeah, I got it right first time about fixating. Oh no, I'm in first 2. Yeah, you just need to, like, it's a lot of estimation to work out whether it looks good or not. Finding Mosey, the game, yeah, it's Mimic. You'll see it streamed. Emergency lighting starting to flash. Yeah, I mean, that could be a thing like having an actor suddenly activate their light components. It could be a material that you use a Boolean, because you can have Boolean component parameters on the material. So that's how you do that. Not yet Finding Mosey. It's still early development. How to add sound to the cinematic. Oh yeah, sure. Sorry, I forgot to show that. Yeah, so alongside adding all these tracks for things that exist in your world, you can also add other tracks to it too. So up on here, you've got a load of things like audio track, shot track, which you've seen already, time dilation track, so if you want to do a bit slow-mo, you can do, fading, visibility tracks, all this sort of thing. So let's say audio track, we add one of these in, and at the point of the explosion, there, we're going to add audio, explosion, like so, and when I go push play, hopefully this comes through for you guys. We'll go full screen. Yeah, you see do animations like that with audio. Same goes for dialogue or other things. You can do that there, and it's useful when you're doing dialogue. You can see the dialogue track. You can see the sound wave. You can, like, it makes it easier to sync things up with what's going on with the conversations. So it's quite useful for that. Fades are also quite useful. So we can go into here and go to fade track. Where is it? There you go. And here's the fade. And I can go into here. If I go to this camera here, and I go to the fade track, add a key for that there, and then fade to black, and then add a key, and then the key's already added because auto key, come out, fade back to white. So you do a fade out. So you do things like that too, which is pretty neat. You can also do, say, data layer tracks, visibility tracks, material parameter track. You've got quite a few things in there. But yeah, that's how we do things like that. So you saw the event track before. When you can do that, you can do triggers and all that. And you can add a key to it and it gives you access to the sequence director. If you want to ever find access to your sequence director, you find it with this little wrench icon. Click on here and go down to sequence director. Open director blueprint, there you go. And you can see the sequences in there. In here you have two graphs. You've got the event graph, which is like a standard event graph that you're used to. and you've got sequencer events. These are the events that exist on the sequencer, so you will find their events appear here. But otherwise, you can do like begin play and other things on here. Not begin play, whatever their events are in here. Created. There you go. I love how they use the same name for everything. You can do some interesting things with that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to now show you something else a little bit cool. And that is relative animations. So let's now do a relative animation. Let's say I'll pick up, let's say we're doing like a Banjo-Kazooie or Mario Star type thing. Okay, so let's make a quick pickup. Do Mario Star, we'll call it. And we'll just do a simple cube. Change that to 0.3, no, 0.5 actually. We'll make it rotate. You know, nothing fancy. And I'll change this to overlap all. Overlap all. Okay. So with this, I want to make it so that it plays animation, but it's relative to the position that I want it to be in. Okay. So the way you do this is by, first of all, we can create a level sequence. There's actually two ways of doing this. So we can do a level sequence this way. And star collect. And in here, we're going to add a simple camera thing. I'm not going to do anything else fancy, but you could obviously do. I'm going to go in here, and we're going to add a camera to this point here. And transform. Go around this way. Go here. There. Okay. So we've got this sort of motion. Oh, that's a bit rubbish, isn't it? We can do look at tracking. We'll do a look at actor to track, and we'll just do take to look at this actor track. This one. No. No, that should be. I should be able to change that. Okay, don't know. Regardless of that, we want to do something simple here. Do like that. Do like that. Yeah, I'm not going to spend any time on it. That's not the main thing I want to do here. Oh, for God's sake, it just crashed. Right. Okay, what have I lost? Mario Star. Cool, put that now. Right, just do another quick sequence. Star sequence. Add a camera. Transform. That'll do. I'm not going to, I say, don't want to spend too much time on it because that's not the point. So we've got this collectible and I want it to play that animation. Okay. So if I go to that star actor and on here on the variables, I add a sequence I want it to play. And this would be sequence, level sequence. Helps I spell it correctly. I want level sequence. Actor. Compile that, and we should be able to No, not actor level, just level sequence. Compile. Oh, there we go. So this level sequence here. Now this level sequence here, if I told it on begin play to play the sequence, or overlap, sorry, to play. Hang on, I have to begin overlap. We have to create a level sequence player, don't we? Level sequence player. Plug that in there, and then return value is this one. Play. It's just that actually. Okay. Now we go into the scene here. Okay, it does that. Okay, which is all fine and good for that one that we got there. But let's say I had another star in my level. Let's say I put one over here. And now push play and go to this one. It's focusing on the wrong one. So how do we do that? Well, you can change basically the relative point where all the animation is following on. So the way you do that is by going to the sequence here. I believe, if memory serves, you go into sequence here, and somewhere down here, I believe, if not, I can look it up. Where is it? Yeah. So you go to override instance data. Tick that on, and it will give you a new transform origin actor. The transform origin is going to be, by default, the world of 000. We need to set this at a different location for each actor we want to set it on. Now, because it's a transform origin actor, that means we can change it when we spawn it in. So with that turned on, I'm going to go to my Mario Star, take the out actor here, and do override instance data, and set that to true. So before we play it, obviously, do that, turn it on to true, and then I'm going to do this and set, what's it called? Hang on, I called it transform origin actor. There we go. Set transform. No, set origin. What's it called? Origin. God's sake. What do I call it? Set transform origin. Yeah, I had to do this before. I've got another project I can open up if I need to. Maybe it's this one. Transform origin. How did I do this before? Because obviously we can set it here, but we won't be different each time. Transform origin actor. Yes, that's what I want to change. Why won't it let me change it? Maybe it's in the settings here. No, why can't I remember this? Sequence. Maybe it's on this one. Transform. Origin. No. Hey, I'm going to load up the other project I made with this. If I can find it. Bear with me. But yes, you can make it orientate itself to a particular point. While I'm waiting for that, let's take a look at what people's questions have got. Blend cutscene to camera gameplay camera. It's yeah. Interesting. Okay, we can do some stuff there. Is it worth adding client force feedback to each explosion instances on a cutscene, like your door exploding? Yeah, sure. Same thing. It's the same track. You just add it as a track. The force feedback actor. Dave Reeves, you're talking about a game UI attached to a computer screen. You may want to look at the widget interaction component. That does exactly what you're trying to do. Just wait for some project to open. Because I can't remember how you set this value. Or what I did in the other project. Maybe I set it to the player. Maybe that's what I did. Just don't remember. You're welcome, Dave. Thank you, Ardash. Once I show this, there's one more thing I want to show you. Oh, no, well, technically there's two more things I want to show you, but I don't think we have time. Maybe save the other one for another day. I'll move this over here because this is for someone else's project. What did I do to it? Hold on. Where's I opened it? God's sake. Hey, why does it always do this? No, okay, hang on. There we go. Okay, got it. Right, so got there eventually. So on the Mario Star thing, when you do this, you have to override it. Yep, and then you take the return value. No, not return value. The out actor here. You want to get the instance data. Get default instance data, and then you have to cast it to the default level sequence instance data, and you can make that pure one if you want, and then you can set the transform object actor. Set transform origin actor, like that. There we go. And so the transform object actor would be self. Okay, now when you do this and then you do play, where did I put play? Oh, there. So we get the instance data, default sequence, and then this. I remember now how I found this out, by the way. If you just right click in here, I turned off context sensitive and done set transform origin actor. And I saw the target is a level sequence instance data object type. I go into there and just type in level sequence data object type, and I found a cast to. It went my way back and eventually got to this thing. This up here. So we get the default instance data, cast to the default instance data there, and set to transform track there. Right, so what happens now is when we interact with this, the data that's on this animation track now is now not going to be correct because its positioning is different. So if I were to bump into this one, it's way off somewhere else. Yeah. So what you need to do is redo the animation of it to work at 0, 0 in the world. Okay, or make it all relative, either one. So if you go down here to camera actor, and I'm going to go to this track, transform track here. I'm going to delete this. And then I'm going to, let's process it. And I'm going to go down to here. Now, we're going to treat like 0, 0 is the point here, which is like where the star will be. So we add the transform track to it. And then we move that around. Okay, something simple like that. Okay. I'm going to come out of there. And what that should do now, it should reposition itself so that the star is the center of the universe, basically. So it does that. Cool. And then if I go to this one, it'll reposition itself on this one. So you can do that same effect with Mario where he gets the star, goes, we go, got a star. Or the Banjo-Kazooie getting a jiggy type thing. You can do things like that. You can also do dialogue like this too. So if you want to make just one dialogue sequence, like camera switching thing, you can make it do that if you want. You can, I don't know, do whatever you like. It's an easy way of doing things like that. So you can change where the origins referred to in a level sequence. In this case, we're on an actor, but it could also be a vector. But yeah, hopefully you like the look of that one. It's quite useful. Okay, so is this how they do a finishing move? It's one way you can do a finishing move. Yeah, you can do things like that with that same sort of thing. Just changing the origin of the animation, so you can animate two characters like just killing each other, and you just change where it spawns in. How do you have a character walking through the scene and cutscene without feet sliding? With patience and timing, or using root motion. So a lot of cutscenes done in AAA games are done with motion capture, which obviously has root motion data assigned to it. So that's how they get it working really well with those sort of games. But for those who don't have motion capture, then you're going to have to do it manually by just eyeing it up. Okay. Okay. No shortcut. no shortcuts in game dev. What are you on about? Okay, so the other thing I want to show you is that that method is fine, but there's also an experimental method too. So if I go to my Mario actor star here, okay, in here I can, if I just disconnect this, do same thing, going overlap here, and on here go add a cine camera or any camera, and position that over here. I'll tell you what would be better, doing it as a spring arm. Make it a bit easier, wouldn't it? Spring arm, add camera. It doesn't really matter what type of camera it is, really. I'm just going to bring that up here. Bring that there. Okay. Right, so what you can also do is an experimental thing. Now, it's still, as I experimental. So you are going to get a warning. So heads up, it may not work. It may crash. But if you go to components here, you can add an actor sequence to it. This is like having a level sequence, but in the actual individual actor. And you can see here, uses experimental class. So be aware of that. But you can click on opening tab here. And this is basically like what we've just done, but inside the actor itself. So I can go on here, add a track for my camera, or a spring arm in this case. Spring arm. Okay, we have to do it this way. Add spring arm, track. As I say, it's fiddly. And then here, we're going to add transform to it. Add a key to there. Let's just auto key here. Auto key doesn't work. Brilliant. As I say, it's experimental. And now the way rotations normally work is that this will probably go buggy. So it'll go round halfway and then quickly whip back. It's just the way rotators work. It's annoying. So you go to see it over here. It starts at minus 90, goes to positive 60, and then goes all the way around to minus 160. If I just change that to positive 160, no, 190, 200. Maths wrong. There you go. It'll do it the right way round now. So it goes right round properly. So you can do that instead. And then when you want to play it, you just act begin overlap, drag out the active sequence, play. Oh, I forgot to actually tell it to be context sensitive. Play sequence. Don't know why I did to another one. There you go. File and save, and then that'll work the same way. But as I say, it's not. I have to tell it to switch the camera over. Sorry, my bad. Get player character controller. Blend. You target blend. Yeah, so you have to manage this stuff manually. Self. And it just does this. Okay. But it's on a, it's been told to loop, so yeah. It's good fun. So on this active sequence here, tell it not to loop. Oh, it is looping. That's fun. It's there. Yeah. So yeah, yes, definitely save your work before trying this out. But yeah, you can do some pretty cool things with this. But yeah, there's that. Okay. Yeah, collision test would be false on that one. I'm just whipping through it because I want to go through other stuff quickly. So alongside that, I'm going to show you one last thing before we call it a night. And so this has been like a sort of intro to cutscene stuff. Obviously, we can't do anything too extravagant because it takes so much time. But hopefully it gives you a few tips and tricks that you can take away with you. So the next thing I want to show you is the control rig stuff in here. So, and how to export your own animations. So let's go and make another level sequence. And let's bring in a mesh. And if the mesh has a control rig associated to it already, it will add it for you. So if I go to add track, active sequence, add SKM Manny, you can see here it's added the control rig for me. Okay, so if it does have one associated, it will add it for you. Remember, if you want it to play normal canned animations, you have to remove the control rig first because it overrides it. But as I say, this is more of a process for showing how to do your own custom animations if you wanted to, or have this tied up with a live link sort of thing to a motion capture suit. But regardless of that, let's show you what you can do in here. So on this mannequin body here, we can add a keyframe to it, and then I'll leave auto key on. It helps have auto key on. And then I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to take his arm, and we're just going to rotate it up like that. And then I'm going to rotate his other hand. Put him back in the pose I want him to be in. Oh, that's not right. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so now we've got this mannequin animating a little wave here. Oh, whoops, I forgot to keep his other arms still. Hold on. Oh, for God's sake. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, well, you get a gist of it. I say we've run out of time, so you can make an animation in here using Control Rig and obviously spend as much time as you want on it. But then when you're happy with it, what you can do is you can actually export it. So if you go on this mannequin body, right click on it and go to, no, sorry, not right click on it. SK Many. Yeah, sorry, SK Many. Go to SKM Many, and up here you'll see Bake Animation Sequence. You can click on that. Okay. Let's name it something and export. And that will make an animation sequence of your animation you just done. So you can make your own animations using the level sequencer as an animator and then make them for your game. So if you want your character to do something slightly different, you can mess about with different animations and make your own setups for those. Yeah, and export them and then use them as part of your gameplay. Same goes for, there's a few other settings on here too. You can do poses as well. So if you want to get into a particular pose, you can export just a pose if you want, like so. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few things you can do in this sort of thing. If you want to make an animation, let me just clear the keys on this one. Do that, like that. If I go to the animation here and just do walk, I do walk forwards, and on we want to, I think it's this one. No, no, no. What is it? No. There's a way to make it so the animation is up on the Control Rig and you can edit the animation. But I can't remember. Cannot remember. Hang on, let me look it up. Not remember what it is. You can do F cave ones, but I don't know about with the Control Rig sequence. Bum, 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 bum. can't remember. Ah. I think you can only do it with FK. So I'll show you do it with FK. So yeah, this is with the control rig. So you've got like use for the IK placements and things like that. So you can edit, move like the feet, for example, to animate the legs and stuff. But if I go and delete the control rig, there may be a way of doing it with the control rig, but I can't find it. So if you go into here, you go to add track, control rig, and choose FK control rig. And this you can see adds the bones. You can see individual bones here. And if you go to the control rig, right click on it, and you want to change it to be additive. Now you see the animation that we've got already on it is underneath there, and I can tweak it and make it additive here. So I can now take this arm and set a key for it, and now I can, that's the low arm, that's the wrong one. There's just too many bones. This is why the control rig's better to use. There must be a way of doing it with the control rig. I don't recall seeing. Hang on, let me just double check. Like, you can do it like that, for example. But let's try it, see if that was on the control rig. Yeah, no, you can't. Additive section. Oh, maybe do this. Nah. Delete that track and just keep the additive one. Nah. Nope. Okay, if I ever find it, I'll make a video on it, but it doesn't look like you can. Annoying. But there you go. You can do the FK method to edit existing animation and export it out. But there we go. As I say, this has been a little brief intro and get you started with cutscenes and using level sequencer in particular. There's obviously a ton more stuff we haven't touched upon, which we'll probably do other streams on eventually, such as make it so you can jump between different animations, so you can do things like quick time events and things like that using this level sequencer. There's quite a lot we can actually achieve with it, so we'll definitely play about a bit more in the future and do some more live streams. By all means, do let me know what kind of stuff you want to see done during these sort of live classes. Each month we do a live session, which is sort of a live tutorial, like extra length tutorial into a particular topic. So this month we've done cutscenes. Last month we done level design. Please let me know what kind of things you'd like to see and what kind of things would be interesting to learn more about. Happy to take requests for that. Now, as for upcoming content, we have got many, as usual, 3 pieces of content coming out each week. Patrons can look forward to the ending of the Quest System series coming out this week with the last episode of that, as well as a few other pieces like AI and survival and other pieces coming in from that. We've got a question time again on Wednesday, and we've also got coming soon the springtime game jam. So if you want to take part in the game jam, look out for details about that coming out hopefully this week, about how to sign up for that and be part of that that competition. In this competition, we are going to be, what we can do is live stream the games that are submitted after the closing, and reward a prize to the best game that's been voted on. So looking forward to seeing people's attempts on that. It was fun last time we done it, and I'll try and make it a more regular thing for the channel. So looking forward to seeing that in action. So you've got that to look forward to. There's plenty of other things in the works too. If you don't know, we have now made Ryan Lady Games a limited company, so we're trying now to expand and do some more crazy stuff with it. There's some really cool things in the pipeline I can't wait to share with you. So look forward to those within the next month or week, a few weeks. But hopefully that'll be really cool. Okay, so yeah, more information about the game jam coming soon, like this week, and we'll talk about it then. But it won't be. The actual event itself happens over the Easter break. So yeah. Anywho, thank you very much, everyone. have a great evening. Take care of yourselves and have fun making your games. And I could look forward to seeing all your beautiful projects. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Take care.